Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is October the 30th, 2024. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Let's see. Work, it went well. Really no complaints. I'm gonna try to, not worry over spilled milk or minor things. Overall it was a solid day. It was good. Also a nice little treat. We tend to get treats like every Wednesday, especially like as we get towards the peak, which we're in the peak right now. So they gave us kettle corn. Granted, this is kind of semi annoying to my coworkers and I, because we used to have a system where, or not even, it wasn't a system actually, it was very laissez-faire, where the people who made the kettle corn, they make big bags of it, and you could just go up to them, or they would like bring in like a bunch of bushels of them, and then like you could just take one, and you could take as many as you wanted like throughout the day. So people would like more or less take like one to eat throughout the day, and then maybe take one home. Maybe more people were being greedy, but it's a lot of popcorn. It's kind of not necessary to take more than that. But I think overall people really liked the way that was. But I guess times got tough. I don't know. And they started making it a ticket system, so that you had to get a ticket just like it was like any kind of major food thing. And so, I mean, it is whatever, it's fine. I didn't do any scams or anything like that. So I just got my one, and I've been, munching on it, but it was good. It was solid. Let's see, but we're already talking about food. Let's get to the big food corner. Let's talk about the entree. I had pasta bolognese last night with a big salad, and the bread on the menu for the night was a bagel with cream cheese, and then I got some ciabatta bread that I broke off, and had some of that, covered it in cheese, butter, pesto, salt, everything seasoning, some red pepper. Everything came together. It was real nice. It was real yummy. So yeah, no complaints on the food. My belly is full, or at least it was full. But I guess I have a good amount of popcorn in me right now. Also, I did this little thing when I was on my little snack break, my usual snack break, where I had the Chester's hot fries, and then I had the kettle corn, and I was just kind of munching, a little here, a little there. Nom, 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 nom. So yeah, that was good. It was nice. So yeah, we're more or less all caught. Oh! I guess I want to say this too, because I kind of mentioned this. I think Monday or so. Kind of did a little bit more of this today, where I kind of just did more man on the street with my coworkers, and started asking them just like like who you voting for, yada yada yada. I definitely got some interesting dialogue out of it, out of some people. And one, I did know I was gonna like get an answer, but I guess there was a bit of a twist. I'll get to that in a second. But literally, one of these people was a person I've played like Magic with, Magic the Gathering, and we've had like Commander pods, we've hung out, we've shot the shit, we've eaten La Rosa's pizza together, yada 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 yada. But I just said, hey, who you voting for, man? And he initially starts it off as like, actually, I forgot to register to vote, and I'm not gonna be able to do it. Actually, I was like, oh, okay, well, that's a little unfortunate. But at this point, I didn't know who was gonna vote for, and I let him keep talking, and eventually we just smashed to the point, because he really wasn't trying to dance around it or be weird or anything. But he was like, yeah, if I had have registered to vote on time, and gotten my stuff together, I would have voted for Trump. And I was like, oh, okay, all right, I hear you. And I'm just in the mood to hear what he has to say. I'm not gonna like come at him crazy or anything like that. I just wanted to, I guess, see what his perspective was. And it was interesting too, because apparently him and the person he's with, they're on different sides of the conversation. So I was like, okay, that's an interesting little discourse you're having there. And so he's kind of breaking it down for me, and he's saying his opinions and stuff, and I'm hearing it. Obviously it's more or less a lot of takes that I really don't agree with, and I'm like, okay, I hear you. I'm just kind of nodding my head, saying, nope, okay, yeah. But at the end of the day, it was nice to kind of hear his perspective. And then I also talked to another person who is a person who helps me out at work. And we had kind of gotten a bit of a tiff because he had just hit me at the end of the day with like some bullshit about it. And like, I think he just thought that it was going to be a casual conversation like we do when we're talking about like anime or whatever. And I had just taken it wrong that day because I wasn't trying to have it. And I was like, you're telling me that my potential assumption about you was dead on the money. Great. Love that for me. Love that we got to be arm in arm together for like, I don't know, however long this is. Great. But I came at it with just a different perspective this time. I was like, I'm in a better mood. I'll bring it up this time in a way, and having that control maybe might make me feel better. I don't know. And it honestly was like much shorter of a conversation because once again, like the other guy, not registered to vote. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And yes, am I that guy? I'm like, honestly, I'm kind of glad that both of these guys are not voting. Great. But I also know that, the way the Electoral College works, it is not likely that Trump is losing Ohio. I know that it likes to get painted sometimes in some narratives that like Ohio could be a purple state or a swing state, who knows. But living in this motherfucker, I really do feel like over the past like 10 plus years at least, this has more or less been a Republican state. And I think it's going to stay that way this year. I don't really think it's going to change. But I know I'm making this long story long, but it was just nice to kind of hear people who are closer to my age. These are more or less my peers, a couple years younger than me, and just what they had to say, what they had to feel about it. You know what I mean? It was interesting, even though I disagreed with them. I could understand how they come to these conclusions, especially because I'm just gonna just be straight up about it. I'm not trying to play him or anything. And they both would probably say this and had said this to me when we were talking. Where like I'm not very news focused, like, you know what I mean? I'm not keeping up to date with all the politics or whatever. This is just how I feel. This is just how I perceive it and how I feel about what I want out of America. Yada yada yada. Blah 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 blah. And if you're asking, were they? Yeah. Of course. So, they feel like, oh yeah, I'm sure maybe my girl might, feel a way about abortion. And I do too. But it's just my priorities are the economy. And it's like, oh, okay. All right. And once again, I really wasn't in an argumentative mood. I didn't have that in me. I just wanted to hear what they had to say. I thought it was, just wanted to hear what the takes were. So, it was an interesting day for me. It was good though. It was overall solid. That actually wasn't the icky, part that I kind of insinuated or, talked about at the beginning. But overall, really good day. But yeah, I've already gone way too long on my blog. So let's go ahead and do our startup and get into some news. But I gotta be honest, like, this is it, y'all. Like, and I don't mean like, oh, this is the most important. Like, I'm not hitting y'all with that bullshit. No, but for me, I do get a bit of excitement about this time of the year. I know a lot of my friends are in the doomer zone. They're not loving it. They're not digging it. But like, I don't know. I've had my eye on this shit for a very long time. I look at this shit every day. My eyes are on the goddamn sparrow, y'all. So like, I guess I kind of come alive in these situations. Also, and maybe this is weird and like I'm way too degenerate online, but like I like that people really show their ass, for better or worse, however you want to take that shit. How they really kind of reveal themselves in these moments about whatever political issues, whatever, they feel about one side or the other or the whole fucking situation. I like that. I like that people can give themselves the opportunity to vet themselves to me. So I can just be like, oh, ooh, that's a disgusting take. You're not my friend, actually. And I can just click the unfriend button. I can click the unfollow button and just move on. Like, I like that. I love that, actually. I like seeing people actually give a shit, one way or another. Or you at least get to know that they really don't give a shit. It's just nice that you get to see people put their shit on the table, like, is what I'm really trying to get at here. Because for me, I mean, God damn it, I'm doing it every day. So it's just nice to see people really have an opinion and really speak on it. You know what I mean? So who knows? I might have more days like this, and coming up. But I more or less just do this at work. I definitely do not do this whenever I'm on the street. And I mean, really, I don't know. This week might be a little different for that. I'm kind of trying to get some money. I'm trying to work it out. But yeah, I'm sorry. Let me go ahead and take the startup. Let's get to the startup and let's get to work, the real work. Also, shout out to my newsies that they say, no, homie, keep yapping. Don't stop. We love when you fucking make these 40, 45-minute episodes. Y'all are real ones. I love y'all. I stand y'all. All right. Now, we're talking politics on the blog part. We're actually going to talk a little bit about it up top. Kind of a bit of the backlash to the backlash. Biden decided to pipe up and give his 2 cents on the Trump Madison Square Garden situation and the whole fallout from that. In his, we can say speech, we can say rant, whatever, he more or less calls Trump supporters garbage, kind of flipping the whole, like, oh, Puerto Ricans are garbage shit that, like, Tony Heath, I can never pronounce his lame ass last name. He really should have just changed his shit to, actually, I'm Kill Tony. Like, that's it. Because Tony Heathcliff, he sounds like a goddamn fake ass Kroger Man Huxtable. But at the end of the day, Biden tries to kind of like flip it, you know, he's trying to do the best he can here. And I don't know, like, the Biden, you know, team, administration, office, they're trying to work and say, hey, yeah, he didn't call Trump supporters garbage. Like, he just paused in a way that made it seem like that or whatever. I don't know. But more or less, Republicans are taking this and running with it and saying, like, hey, like, there's such a high percentage amount of people who do love Trump, who do support Trump, and he's calling you garbage, actually. And you're not garbage. You're patriots. Like, bro, shut the fuck up. Like, no, actually, y'all are kind of fucking garbage. Shut the fuck. Like, if you stand and support any kind of fucking politician, you're weird. You have to accept that you're a weird ass fucking loser. And I don't even just mean this for Trump. If you do this for fucking Kamala Harris, if you dick riding for Obama, it's the same shit, bro. Like, don't get me wrong. I fall into this category a bit too sometimes. I definitely have for the Obama era, for sure. Like, I'm way more aware now. I wouldn't say I'm a Harris stan, but y'all know where my fucking vote went. Y'all already know that shit. I've told y'all. Now, at the end of the day, just kind of highlighting this headline here from the BBC. Harris distances herself from foray over Biden garbage comment. Essentially saying, like, she doesn't really judge anyone for who or how they vote, whatever. And I don't think she had to do this. I think this is kind of reaching for the Republican Party, because, like, I literally trapped one of my coworkers on this shit because he tried to come for me. He tried to get me because he just loves talking politics with me, and he and I just kind of love having a little bit of repartee about it. I actually enjoy going back and forth with him because he can take a joke. I can pretty much take a joke too. So he comes at me and he starts about the Biden thing, and I said, whoa, brother. You and I let you slide. I let you slide on the Madison Square Garden thing, but we can talk about that now since you want to talk about garbage. And he's like, yeah, okay. Also, I gotta love this too. I've been hearing this thing, right? And I know I'm back to blogging as we move on to the news I wanted to cover. But there's this thing that I just learned this term. Listening to, like, fucking The Daily or whatever the fuck. But the term of the shy voter. In this situation, it was initially described to me as, like, there are women who are voting for Kamala Harris, but they don't want to tell anybody, and they're a shy Kamala Harris voter. And I've heard that was used apparently for Trump as well. And I'm like, what kind of weird ass fucking shit is this? But then I get to look at my coworker, right, who is an adamant Trump supporter, and, like, he did this thing after Trump lost to Biden in 2020, where he was like, damn, like, this is crazy. It's crazy times. And, like, he would continue to always talk shit about Biden, but essentially said, yeah, I would ask him, because, like, once I realized that Trump was not going anywhere after he lost, he was just going to, bump back to Mar-a-Lago, but he was going to come back. And I just realized that, and he was like, oh, I wouldn't vote for him. And I was like, yo, be for real right now. Like, be so for real right now, dude. You would. And he's like, no, I wouldn't, Isaiah. I wouldn't. And then fast forward to, election season, the campaign's starting up and everything. And it's like, sure as fucking shit. Yes, you are, bro. You and your old lady. But I guess things have changed for him. And his missus is voting for Kamala Harris. She's choosing the girl boss. And he was put off, and he was surprised. And, like, you just kind of seen him kind of waffle a bit, and I've been telling him this whole time because he's a bit religious, he's a tad religious, and I'm like, dude, you're such a Peter. You're such a Peter. Why would you deny him in his hour of need? Why would you give up on your God Emperor like this? You know he sees you. You know he feels you right now. He feels you deserting him. Why? Come on, come on. And I'm like, bro, I know you. I know you're gonna vote for him. And he said to me up until today, he's like, actually, I changed my mind. Actually, I think I'm not gonna vote. He's like, I kind of think Trump's a bully. I kind of think, and y'all know me, right? I'm literally saying, come on, dude, that's not you. I don't believe you. And he's still back and forth about it because he's registered. I know he could change his mind whenever he wants and actually go. But once again, his missus is like, oh, I already voted. I voted early. So we'll see. And once again, if he wants to be a little shy guy, he wants to be a little shy Trumper, that's fine. That's okay. But it's predictable. And once again, I already said this. I really do think Ohio's gonna go that way. I mean, shit, JD Vance is from fucking Middletown. Like, a lot of people would just do that for the vibes here, I bet. So, it is what it is. A little bit of a, campaign update and, once again, another excuse for me to yap about things that are happening at the job and, news around us. Oh, no. I hope y'all didn't hear my stomach rumble. Oh, no. I'm on my Winnie the Pooh shit right now. Okay, let's get to the main bites from the Associated Press. U.S. airstrikes target multiple sites in Syria, killing up to 35 Islamic State militants. The U.S. military has struck a number of Islamic State group camps in Syria this week, killing as many as 35 militants, U.S. Central Command said Wednesday. The airstrikes in the desert of central Syria were done Monday evening and targeted multiple locations and senior leaders of the group. The attacks came on the heels of a number of joint operations with Iraqi forces that targeted IS militants in Iraq. Pentagon officials have said that the Islamic State group remains a threat in the region, but is no longer as powerful as it was 10 years ago when the militants swept across Iraq and Syria, taking control of large swaths of the two countries. The U.S. Central Command said the latest strikes in Syria will disrupt the group's ability to plan, organize, and conduct attacks against civilians and U.S. and allied forces in the region. It said there were no indications of civilian casualties in the strikes. I feel like it's very important for them to mention that last part because it's like, cool, man. Yet again, Syria is just taking action. They're taking strays. If it's not from Israel, oh, yeah, we had to do some bombing over here. Oopsie, whatever. We had to do it. It's fucking the U.S. doing their fucking shit. The U.S. is, aiming to hit. But yeah, I'm glad in this situation, at least as we know, there weren't any civilian casualties or whatever, but we'll see how effective this is in the long run. I'm sure this isn't like the last you've heard of the Islamic State. Anyway, let's move on to the next bit from the BBC. Spain battles deadliest flooding disaster in decades as death toll rises. Spain is enduring its worst flooding disaster in decades, with at least 95 people dead and dozens more missing after huge rains swept the eastern province of Valencia and beyond. Torrential rain on Tuesday triggered flash floods, which swept across bridges and buildings and forced people to climb onto roofs or cling to trees to survive. President Pedro Sanchez has declared 3 days of national mourning as the wild conditions continue, restricting some rescue efforts. The death toll is feared to climb as many people are still missing, the government says. In his national address on Wednesday, President Sanchez urged citizens to remain vigilant and pledged a full recovery, telling victims, "The whole of Spain weeps with you. We won't abandon you." I think one big thing that has kind of come up in contention to the government and Sanchez is that the alert was apparently it came too late. There are widespread accusations in Spain that in many cases disaster relief authorities were too slow to act with warnings, meaning people couldn't get off roads or seek higher ground. The Civil Protection Agency deployed during national disasters did not issue an alert until 20:15 p.m. Tuesday evening local time. But by then, Shiva and several other towns had already been flooded for at least 2 hours. So I imagine in the aftermath, maybe there's going to be more investigations or, looking into that. And, I definitely want to keep you guys posted on anything else I hear out of Spain in this situation. It's very sad. It's very tragic. Just seeing that picture that I have in the thumbnail of just all those cars just piled up like that was just like, wow, that's intense. So yeah. Now we're going to move on to our January 6th segment of this episode. Very politically charged today, but I mean, politics are in everything, and I'm doing news, so I mean, it's pretty inevitable that I'm going to talk a decent amount of politics usually, right? I mean, that's kind of par of the course. But yeah, let's talk about Jimmy. Let's talk about Jimmy fucking Pesto. I should say the former Jimmy Pesto, because he's been replaced. NPR. Former Bob's Burgers actor sentenced to 1 year in prison for role in Capitol riot. 07's in the chat. An actor known for his roles in television comedies Bob's Burgers and Arrested Development was sentenced on Monday to 1 year in prison for his part in a mob's attack on the U.S. Capitol nearly 4 years ago. Jay Johnston, 56, of Los Angeles, joined other rioters in a heave-ho push against police officers guarding a tunnel entrance to the Capitol during the January 6, 2021 riot. Johnston also cracked jokes and interacted with other rioters as he used a cell phone to record the violence around him, prosecutors said. Johnston expressed regret that he made it more, this quote here, made it more difficult for the police to do their job on January 6th. He said he never would have guessed that a riot would erupt that day. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy that you heard what Daddy Trump told you to do. And now, you're walking over, you're pacing over, and the next thing you know, you're just fucking doing a whole fucking battering ram and shit. Like, okay, bud. Yeah, we never could have seen this happen. It's crazy. What a flurry of the moment. Let's see here. Though it's added that he really does not feel that bad. Like, literally 2 years after the fact, he was literally dressed up as like the QAnon shaman, like, for Halloween. Like, so cool. I guess it's just fun to just bring up that memory fondly. I guess it was a really cool time. Let's see here. I mean, I really don't have too much to say. I mean, this dude's a loser. He's now, apparently, according to him or his lawyer, whatever, he's been a handyman. He's been blackballed by the industry. Canceled. Well, dude, enjoy fucking cosplaying as Tim Allen. I don't know what to fucking tell you, dude. I don't know, whatever. Now, he's going in the clink, and we got Steve Bannon coming out of the clink. So let's go ahead and move on to that, actually. I really don't feel like giving too much more time to fucking Jimmy Pesto. But do love Bob's Burgers. Good fucking show. NBC News. Steve Bannon released from prison after serving contempt of Congress sentence. So yeah, they let this loser out. Somehow he got tanned, and he has longer hair, but he still looks like a walking piece of shit. So good for him. Glad he hasn't lost a step. Awesome. The last time Steve Bannon was a free man, Joe Biden was a presumptive Democratic nominee for president. Early Tuesday, Bannon, the right-wing podcast host and former Donald Trump campaign official, was released from Federal Bureau of Prisons custody, with exactly 1 week to go until voters choose between his former boss and Vice President Kamala Harris on Election Day. He's out. I don't know why in my head that I thought this would like be longer or feel longer. I think it's just because I go, oh yeah, he's in jail and I can just forget about him now. But it's like, no, these motherfuckers usually do super light sentences. I think just kind of just mentally referencing from the last article, I think it was anywhere from like a few days in prison or whatever to like 22 years for, in certain cases. So, these two guys are more or less definitely on the lighter end. But yeah, he's back out the gate. I'm sure he's going to be back, in his rare form, trying to incite another fucking riot, trying to, just be the fucking fangs of this conservative movement or whatever. I don't know. Like, I often ask myself, like, who is the Rush Limbaugh now that like Rush Limbaugh is, quote, he's gone. He's been dead. Fucking rest in piss. Maybe it is Bannon. I mean, he's literally gotten to, like political positions of power. And, granted, he wasn't in there for, forever. He definitely then became like kind of like a little shadow assistant to Donald Trump. But he's definitely a fang in this guy's, repertoire for Trump. You know what I mean? So, he's going to keep pushing, keep barking the same kind of shit, spreading the same ass fucking disinformation. I definitely feel like you have to say disinformation here. It's not like he's just slagging it not knowing. He knows the shit he's saying is wrong. He knows the shit he's saying is fucked up, but he's going to keep saying it anyway. Which is also a fun little thing. Once again, I cannot stop talking or referencing the stuff that I was talking about with people today. Like, we were talking about censorship, and this is one of those things where I realized, like, yes, I've definitely gotten older as a person, and the way I view news has changed how I feel about definitely certain things. I'm less, punk rock. Like, don't get me wrong, censorship is annoying. When it comes for you, it's very like, oh, why are we doing this? But there are reasons why. Like, you need to stop disinformation. You need to stop the ability for people saying, hey, I'm going to yell fire in a crowded fucking room. Like, these things are wrong and not just immoral, they are illegal for a reason. Like, they are a reason they are regulated. They're a reason that these things are stopped. Granted, that's not why Bannon went to prison. He went to prison because he decided that I was just going to say, ooh, 2 middle fingers to fucking Congress. I'm not going to fucking come to the subpoena. And while I do usually advise that, by the time that they fucking put the subpoena on you, it's time to show up, brother. You got to talk about January 6th. You loved yapping about it before it happened, and then now it happens, and now you're fucking zip, 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 nothing. It's like, no, you should go do that. And he's like, no, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go. He held the fuck out. But at the end of the day, yeah, you gotta go, dude, and you didn't. So now you gotta serve a second fucking sentence. But that being said, now he's back and he's gonna go to his fucking war room or whatever the fucking name of his podcast is, and he's probably gonna once again just spread the same fucking bullshit. I don't think that's okay. I do think that there should be clampdowns on that, but I also understand why people feel and think that, like, no, if you're not like CNN or I don't know, whatever news today, like if you're on Facebook or your own podcast, you shouldn't be clamped down on. But like, no, if you're telling people to fucking put fucking some dumbass fucking horse shit in your ivermectin, I remember, if you're telling people to do that kind of shit, I don't know, maybe someone should just like stop you. Maybe you should be thwarted. Call me crazy. But yeah, once again, I spent too long on this little topic, but once again, I'm very politically charged this week. I can't help it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm on 10 till November 6th, and then we'll see. Then we'll go from there. But yeah, let's go ahead and power down. Let's take our last break, and we will go ahead and close it out. We're gonna take it home. We're gonna take it back to a good old Ohio, the Buckeye State, where I live, where I reside. Ooh. Excuse me. Also, this is super random, but I'm seeing it here. R.I.P. to Terry Garr. Just if you know, you know. There you go. But from WLWT5, Miami U student scammed out of $100,000 by thieves posing as ICE agents. Report says. Whew. Police are investigating after a Miami University student said he was scammed out of thousands of dollars by scammers posing as United States immigration and customs enforcement agents, threatening to deport him back to Vietnam. According to an Oxford police report, it started in September when someone allegedly posing as an ICE agent calling the 22-year-old student and saying he was a suspect in a money laundering case out of Washington. The student then stated a second call came in that showed up as Miami University police on the caller ID. The student said he spent a week going to different banks and stores buying $19,000 worth of gift cards taking out $97,000 in cash from his bank and putting it into Bitcoin ATMs in the area. I feel so bad for this dude because, like, a lot of people are like, how could you be so stupid? How could you be so gullible? And it's like, I guarantee you the person saying and thinking that has a certain fucking pigment. And that's all I'm going to fucking say. Because at the end of the day, if you are not from here, you have not had to deal with the fucking government the way that the government will come for you if and when, especially when you live in this kind of climate right now. You know what I mean? Where literally it's like, oh, you got to get out of here. You got to, motherfuckers are talking mass deportations and shit. Yes, it is a scary time to be someone who's not initially from here, to be an immigrant, I don't know why I said immigrant. So yeah, it's going to make you go, oh my gosh, I'm going to do whatever this fucking person says. It is the same kind of situation as like, hey, I'm a older person. I don't usually handle internet stuff. And now I got this guy barking at me saying he's the fucking police and I got to do this, that, and the third. But yes, obviously, if there's never going to be a situation as demonic as ICE is, where they're going to be like, hey, you got to give us gift card money. Like, no. They can just get the money from you. They can do whatever the fuck they want. They're the goddamn government, right? But no, obviously this is very unfortunate. This is very sad. The student also said he was coerced into sending a picture of himself, his passport, and a social security number. He also said he missed a week of school at Miami University due to the request. And in total, he sent $117,000 to the alleged scammers. So yeah, obviously that's very sad, and he still says he's getting hit up by just other potential scammers, schemers, whatever. So it's just one of those things. Be mindful out there, y'all. This is a very cautionary tale. They can come in all shapes and sizes, and you can be thinking you're talking to some regular person who just added you on a lark or who just mistext you or what have you, but nope, that's someone who's trying to fleece you. You know what I mean? So just always be vigilant, always be wary. And also, and I'm not saying this on some like conspiratorial Alex Jones ass shit, but like, it's okay to ask someone for, their identification and all these things. It's okay to say, hey, I'm going to stop this call because this isn't how normally a police officer or any kind of law enforcement moves. I'm going to stop this call actually. And maybe, call real police or go to real police. You can stop these kind of things. You can pause these kind of things. Now, I'm not any kind of expert or anything, so don't, I'm legally obligated to say that, I'm sure, or whatever. But just be what I'm really trying to get here as I'm just a guy, who crushes trash or whatever. But just be careful out there, y'all. Just be vigilant. Just always watch your six and be careful who you're texting and sending your digits to, whatever. Or sending pictures to. I know there's a lot of, I tend not to cover these stories because it's really sad and very grim, but the sexploitation of like any kind of minor or person, male, female, whatever, because you have people who are literally hitting up people, getting into these spicy conversations, and then like they ask for a picture or something, and you're just thinking, oh, okay, cool, everything's all freaky deaky, I'm sexting now. And then these people will literally say, oh, I'm gonna take this picture and I'm gonna send this to everyone you know and you care about. And like sometimes these situations get so grim and so dark that like kids have like taken their own lives, over this kind of shit. And I definitely would never want to hear or learn about that from any of my listeners, my friends, my peoples. So yeah, like I said, just be careful out there, y'all. Just, mindful, whatever. Anyway, that is it for me. Let's see. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon. Halloween is tomorrow. After that, shout outs, roll call, newsy roll call. So, check in if you like. But yeah, you get the shout out. I plug a project if you'd like, and you're also just helping the effort. It goes to the fund that is the Newsy Supreme, which is me. Anyway, and maybe one day if I get enough newsies in the mix, I could actually update and actually get better equipment. I was thinking this the other day. I would be unstoppable with a producer, with an editor. Imagine. I'm assembling a team, but that's neither here nor there. That's not why I do it, by the way. I'm really just happy to have people listening, and got to mention free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com, Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Let's see here. Subscribe to the YouTube. That's another free way to help out. Road to 500. Subscriber to subscriber. That is how you pave it, baby. But yeah, leaving a like, leaving a cool comment, sharing is caring. All those things help the algorithm. And, I'm trying to bring algorithm talk back. I'm sick of AI talk. It's so honk chew mimi shit. Please, let's talk about boosting algorithms. Let's talk about getting bots involved. Let's talk about bot farming. No, I wish. Once again, those are things I can't afford. So, I'm just really trying to do this the old fashioned way. One subscriber, one listener at a time. So, yeah. Once again, sharing is caring. If you're listening on another thing like a Spotify or Amazon, you can do that too, leaving comments and sharing and all that stuff. But yeah, once again, it's really just cool that you listen. It's really just cool that you tuned in. It's crazy that you made it all the way to the end. But yeah, hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.